Kusabi family. Um, yeah, there's some interesting news going on in the sanctuary today. Um, but we need to talk about this because it's like we have a case now, and we're gonna see the irony of it all, right? So we're gonna go ahead and just kick this off like right now because dang on it. My boy Charles, man, he be keeping me up on game. Like, so when things go down, he the first one. King, him, or either Jazz. Jazz say like I had another dream or something like that. So I'm like, boy, and they looking at it and they so now everyone can see now. There's been some words that's been said before any of this would take place. Right? So we're gonna go visit those words. See when it was said. It was like thinking something back like in May. Where we at now is was June. Oh yeah, so that's like we're moving towards July right now, right? So July, um, it's almost roughly like 3 months ago. But the irony of it all is in the end. All right, watch this. So salute to everyone watching by Yashi Yahoo Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by David King Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Truth Colors, Yeshaya, Congo Facebook page. Salute to everyone watching by Truth Colors YouTube channel. Salute to everyone watching by David King YouTube channel. Salute to everyone watching by We Are Bantu Periscope TV. Salute to those who are watching by Bantu Yisolele Twitter account. Salute to Goshen. Salute to Michaela and Micah. Daddy loves you. And I enjoyed my time with you. May the Father's will be done. Like, seriously, on the earth as it is in heaven, there's been some strange things take place over the last couple weeks. Forget months. Weeks. All right. So without I know some people were like, man, I'm so glad I'm Goshen. Like, it's dude, this is the best. You ain't seen nothing yet. It's like a movie. It's like a freaking movie, okay? All right. So we'll be right back after, the introduction. Thanks for tuning in to for True Colors. My name is King Music or King David or Heart of Songs or Yeshaya. Any one of those names. Because the Father gave them to me. All right. Who's up?
Other Psalms.
Revelations. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark into his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Satan cast cast into the lake of fire. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The great white throne. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged, every man according to their works, in death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. But I will tell you what will happen to cowards and to everyone who is unfaithful or dirty-minded or who murders or is sexually immoral or uses witchcraft or worships idols or tell lies. They will be thrown into that lake of fire and burning sulfur. This is the second death.
Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Hey, your who I said your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit testers. Multitude like your haters, not your haters, they're your fruit.
Beats by other songs.
Yeah. Truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors. Hey, when you learn the truth, it will set you free. Many are held captive, stolen identity. But let me just shoot the breeze, release you from Satan's squeeze. He's all like enemies, no matter the color you see. That truth frame. Truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, truth colors, yeah, truth colors.
Oh my goodness. Just Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. Like, look, it is like so black. Okay, look. So we're going to go look at not Sir Mix-a-Lot, but these things because I had to look it up. All right. when I bring these things out, these things got to be taken with a sort of type of pizzazz. You know what I'm saying? Because people be posting old, info. But so I was like, let me check this out. I was like, do the research, go check it out. So here it is. Look, this stuff is real, man. King Mswati's children mock Swazis who demand democratic reforms. Now, the funny thing of it is like it's almost like swastika. Can you imagine yourself, you know, you you might as well just put a whole Hitler. Like seriously, let's put on there Hitler. You just need the N word. Just change this out right here and put it in. And damn it, you got Nazis up in this one. You got that's a damn shame. How I don't want to say nothing. Just I really don't want to say nothing. I'm just gonna keep my mouth quiet on that one. Who named them? Like seriously, Swazi, Nazi. Who? I guess they was playing like other. Let's just match some words today. We ain't gonna think of nothing creative. We just gonna play off of Nazi and call ourselves Swazi. The irony of it all, right? So Zebulun is being challenged. All right, because that's what the Zulus are. They are Zebulun. Watch King Mswati's children mock Swazis who demand democratic reforms. A video of King Mswati's children mocking protesters in Eswatini has left many shocked following the eruption of widespread protest action. His children took to the social media accounts with live video taunting those who wish to see democracy in the country. King Mswati children mock Swati who demand democratic reforms. This is June 27th, so this is like not old news, but new news. Oh, I can't hear the audio. Okay, they're kind of low right there. Right there it is, right there. That's what we're looking for. He looked just like his son. I mean, look just like his daddy. Like his daddy just spit him out himself, just like, look, I don't need no help. I'm just gonna spit you all the way out.
Respect aina region aina values angeke ukubulula ngubani angeke
Whoever that mean for life like color the money.
Yeah. I don't know what they said, but they were saying it. So, I thought one of them at the end said, you know, Soldier Boy. I didn't know. But yeah. So, protesters are aggrieved by the economic decline. What he say? He said, you are rich, but you are poor, right? We're going to look at some stuff today. Are demanding an elected prime minister under a constitutional monarch and want freedom of speech, amongst other things. The kingdom is one of the world's last remaining absolute monarchies. Meaning what is the king? So the last part of the absolute monarchs are being done away with. Is there a replacement? Is there something happening? And it's ruled by King Mswati III, who was crowned in 1986. I don't know if that sounds ancient at all, but at the age of 18, succeeding his long-serving father, King Zohusa II, who died at the age of 82. King Mswati said to have fled as Eswatini unrest continues. Hey, first thing to start off with is fire. Fire! They have burnt down something. This is real, folks. This is as real as it gets. King Mswati III is rumored to have fled Eswatini amid protests that have escalated. Protesters who were setting fire to property belonging to the king claimed police and the army opened fire on them. News reports that King Mswati fled after protests erupted. However, the Eswatini government denied this. The protests are said to have started several weeks ago, but have heightened over the course of the week over allegations of intense police brutality. According to Swaziland News, the protests took on more serious turn after the monarchy issued a decree banning petitions that called for democratic reform. On Monday, the army was deployed to areas of unrest after several trucks, shops, and buildings were torched. So the people are, I guess, they're being beaten in the land by the cops. And so I guess they were like, look, like no more. I'm not gonna shed no more tears. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, we ain't gonna shed no more tears. We just gonna burn it down. You know. Like they ain't playing, right? We will burn this mud down. Hit me again. Hit me again with a baton. Hit me. I dare you. I didn't think so. They torched. Watch this now. Police blocked protesters. This is what they torched a truck. Now I don't know if they need that truck, but it's torched now. Now, the funny thing, well, not really funny at all, but the irony of all of this is right here. Look when this is happening. Yesterday, according to Ocean Timeline, yesterday was the same exact day when Zedekiah was removed from power and Nebuchadnezzar besieged Salem or Shalom. See the irony? Same exact day when Shalem or Salem king was removed by the king of Babylon. So as all these protests and this king flees on the same day. Around the same time. These are all around the same time. On Monday, June 29th, that is today. So this is made today, but it happened before. today. Oh, that's me. That's me right there. Armed forces opened fire and cracked down on anti-monarchy protests in Eswatini. Tear gas used against protesters in African Kingdom with an overnight curfew imposed. Government forces in the Southern African Kingdom of Eswatini fired gunshots and tear gas on Tuesday to break up protests calling for reforms to its system of absolute monarchy. Witnesses said a dusk till dawn curfew was imposed. The acting prime minister, whatever it is, Themba Masuku, denied media reports that King Mswati the third had fled the violence to neighboring South Africa. His Majesty is in the country and continues to advance the kingdom's goals. Masuku said in a statement, "We appeal for calm, restraint, and peace. Protesters are rare in Eswatini, Africa's last absolute monarchy. Political parties are banned, but violent anti-monarch demonstrations have erupted in parts of the country. Anger against Mswati has been building for years. Campaigners said the king has consistently evaded calls for meaningful reforms that would nudge Eswatini, which changed its name from Swaziland in 2018 in the direction of democracy. They also accused him of using public coffers as a piggy bank, funding a lavish lifestyle off the backs of his 1.5 million subjects, most of them subsistence farmers. Security forces set up roadblocks to prevent access by some vehicles to the capital, Mabambane. On Tuesday, some banks said they had shut until the unrest, which started on the weekend and turned violent overnight, subsides. I can hear gunshots and smell tear gas. I do not know how I will get home. There is nothing in the bus rank. There is a strong presence of riot police and the army. Vusi Madeleine, a shop assistant in Mababane, said by telephone. Masuku said a curfew had been imposed from 6 p.m. until 5 a.m. and that schools had been ordered to close. This was to curb violence in several parts of the country, perpetuated by the unruly crowd, he said. The military is on the streets, said Luke Healy, spokesman for the democracy group in Swaziland's Solidarity network. Yesterday was the worst night ever, where a young man was shot point blank by the army, and some are in hospital as we speak. Wandali, whoever these names are. The Secretary General of People's United Democratic Movement, Pudimo, said King Mswati unleashed armed soldiers and police on unarmed civilians yesterday. Unarmed civilians yesterday. The 53-year-old king denies being an autocrat and is unapologetic about the lifestyle enjoyed by him and his 15 wives, who between them occupy several state-funded palaces with unrestricted political power and ruling by decree. Ruling by decree. You see that? There's a difference. A proclamation, pronounce, order, command, rule, dictate, lamb. Now, direct, decide, determine. But who determined it? Who did it? Who made this decree? Him and his family? Because in the scriptures, in the book of Maccabees, this is how kings were made. So the ones who are now kings, in a sense, really are not kings. And I'm a let's go. So this is Alexander the Great, right? He went through and killed all the kings, right? He had smitten there is the king of the Persians and Medes. This would be down there over where they call Jerusalem, or where they call that where the Ashkenazi Jews are at, the fake people, right? Over in Saudi Arabia, over in those areas. That he reigned in his stead. So the same place where Darius the king was reigning at, now Alexander is now reigning that same place. This would be in Babylon. But now the Medes and Persians have taken over Babylon, so now they're calling it by a different name. Understand? And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew all the kings of the earth. Alexander did. So if there's no kings, and this would be already after Nebuchadnezzar has already taken over Shalom or Salem. So Zedekiah, this would have already happened. This happens before Alexander comes into power. Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem, and it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts, against Salem, the city of peace, and pitched against it. And they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. And the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city. See how he's coming with? His father sent him for a famine. And there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up. And all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were against the city round about, and the king went the way towards the plain. And the army of the Chaldees, which is the Chaldeans, pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. And all his army was scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him. And they killed the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. Meaning what? There'll be no more heir to the throne of Judah through the reign or through the seed of Zedekiah. They killed this seed before his eyes, and then put out his eyes and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters, that's chains of brass, and carried him to Babylon. This is the last of Judah's kingdom. They would not be reigning no more, because Nebuchadnezzar is the head of gold. And this starts off the times of the Gentiles. Period. End of story. The temple was destroyed. It was the same place where the Father's dwelling was too. In the 5th month, the 7th day of the month, which is 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Nebuzaradan, captain of the guard, a servant of king of Babylon, unto Salem or Shalem. And he burnt the house of the Father, meaning signify I'm no longer here. I'm gone. Where's he at? He's with Daniel and the Bantu boys in captivity. I want y'all to understand that, because it says, in whom the spirits of the gods dwell in. They said that about Daniel. And then Daniel was placed high above, even like almost like the king in the providence. He was set high above Nebuchadnezzar. That's why it would be a head of gold. At that time, the Father's influence will be directing and guiding the king. Afterwards, oh no. And he burnt the house of El Shaddai in the king's house. The king's house and the house of the Father are connected. In all the houses of Jerusalem, and every great man's house burnt he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard broke down the walls round about. Now the rest of the people that were left in the city and the fugitives that fell away to the king of Babylon with the remnant, that I will leave a remnant, I will not destroy all of you. I will leave a small portion of the multitude did Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carry away. But the captain of the guard left of the poor of the land to be vine dressers and husbandmen. He left the poor to be vine dressers and husbandmen, to watch over the place, to watch over the vines and the trees. But he burnt down the houses. There was no place for them to live. Everything was burnt to a crisp. So vines left in the waste places now. These will be now waste places. These will be now ancient ruins. He left them there. So watch this. What we need to do research now is look for I guess like grapes. Vine dressers will be like grapes. So it'll be grapes in the ancient ruins. We need to find those areas because that will show us directly, hey, this is it. But everyone got coming through the door, and the door is this. Gambia. All right. Now, the spirits of the gods live in him. As it'll be Second Kings, it'll be in Second. Here it is. There's a man in your kingdom. Follow us and let you know where he's at. He's inside of it. He's with Daniel now. Do not let your thoughts terrify you or your face grow pale. There's a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy gods in him. Who was he say? This person has the Father living on the inside of him. In the days of your father, he was found to have insight, intelligence, and wisdom like that of the. Now, what would that be? So he has a couple of things abiding upon him. We're going to use this branch right here as some parts of it to see where some of those things are. Because she said insight. So she said the spirit of the gods lived in him. Okay. So he said he had insight. So what would be insight? Would that be wisdom, understanding, or the spirit of counsel? But they say he has it. Insight. Wisdom. Insight is wisdom. The spirit of wisdom. Let's look at these real quick. Light. So he's light in a dark place. Illumination. And the light dwells. Which means what? Wisdom. So the spirit of wisdom is upon Daniel. None other than one of the spirits of the Father. The spirit of God is upon him. Here it is. The spirit of wisdom. One. That's insight. The next one. Intelligence. What is that? Same thing as wisdom. Actually, it's understanding, huh? So he has understanding. Huh? Sounds familiar. Oh, see how it's going in the order? The spirit of the gods is upon him. He has insight, spirit of wisdom. And he has what He has understanding. She said he has intelligence. So intelligence is understanding. Going in order. Now, what's the next one? Probably counsel. Insight, intelligence, and wisdom. Now, why are they saying wisdom again? Now, what does this one wisdom means? Wisdom, wisdom. You see how they do things, how they comes out with wisdom. So she said he has wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. No, the next one's going to be what? She's saying that he has counsel. The spirit of counsel. They don't want to show the connection. The spirit of Yah is now on Daniel. So as the place has been taken over, the spirit of Yah is resting on Daniel. Spirit of Yah will rest on him. Spirit of wisdom, understanding, and the spirit of counsel. Now, Daniel don't have the spirit of strength, is not needed to fight. And the Father has the has the knowledge still on him. So Daniel's still praying to the Father, and the Father what? Gives him some knowledge, like, look, this was about to happen. So we see all these things that's taking place. But it's not like per se resting upon him. He prays, right? Now, so it's three things. So Daniel has the three things right here. He has first the Father, which is the spirit of wisdom, and also of him is understanding, right? And he has the spirit of counsel, because he counsels Nebuchadnezzar, King Nebuchadnezzar, on how, all right, so after this is what you saw on your bed, but this is Belshazzar, who has literally came there and saw the handwriting on the wall. He has literally helped the king, and now he's helping the king's son. Wisdom like that of the gods. Your father, King Nebuchadnezzar, appointed him chief of the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners. Your own father, the king, did this because Daniel, the one he named Belshazzar, was found to have extraordinary spirit, to have an extraordinary spirit. If that is not the Father, I don't know what is. As well as what? Knowledge. The spirit of Yah shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom, understanding, the spirit of counsel, strength, and the spirit of knowledge. So literally he has the Holy Spirit resting upon him. Understanding and ability to interpret dreams. The Father is on him completely. We see where the Father has made his home at in Daniel. Explain riddles and solve difficult problems. Summon Daniel, therefore, and he will give you the interpretation. So the Father's home is now made in Daniel. He has left the king and went with Daniel into captivity. Do y'all hear that? Into captivity. He didn't stay with the land. He went over to Babylon. America is the daughter of Babylon and Egypt at the same time, right? Whew. So we see that connection. The kingdom is gone, but now rests upon Daniel. So we done seen that. Now watch what's about to happen. We need to go ahead with this because we have to stay here because we have to see what's about to happen to this king right here. Because there's about to be a changeover, right? That's what's about to happen. The handwriting on the wall, meaning what? Judgment. The Father removes kings and he puts in kings. Only he can do it, right? We'll go to King James. For as much as in essence, spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Now watch this. Daniel interprets the handwriting. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art the children of the captivity, which are of the children of captivity of Judah? Where's Judah at? In captivity. I told you, you will not raise your head up until after the partly iron and partly clay, which is now in play right now, is destroyed. And it's going to be us who destroy them to take the kingdom back over the whole entire earth. Period. You have a light that's going to be leading the way. There's a flame of fire inside of the king's, the true king's belly. That if anyone tries to hurt him, they got to remove this king to a safe place. It says fire will come up out of his belly and destroy all those who tries to harm him. It's two witnesses. The other witness has fire in their belly too. All right, let's go. Art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of captivity of Judah? Meaning what? You came from the captivity of Judah. Judah's in captivity. Whom the king, my father, brought out of, what's this? It wouldn't be Jerusalem or Jewry. What are they actually saying here? You take away the J. More like it probably be Iwi. Iwi, Africa. What if it's Ari, Africa? Where my father took from Ari, Africa. This would make more sense. We're in the South African place. He said, no longer will you worship in Salem. It's mining equipment. This is crazy, right? But that's something to look into, right? But we just know it's not going to be what they say it is. They would change the name, but look how it's all still intact here. Only thing that's not there is a E or a W. But it's not Jury Africa. Look at this. Kenya, East Africa. Ivory Coast. You're in Gambia or somewhere close like that. The Ivory Coast. That's what came up. I'm sure there's probably more to this, but people are probably going to look more into it and be like, "Wait a minute, hold up. He just hit something." Now people are going to be looking more into it. They'll let me know what they come up with. My thing is just to bring up some stuff. But here it is. Eastern Cape. If he burned up Jerusalem, he asked him, he said, "You came from Shalem, Salem," because we know that's where King Nebuchadnezzar got them from. Yeah, how they trying to do it. So now let's put in there the other piece where they think that we don't have. Ooh, now something's coming up. The unspoken alliance. Hold on, wait. So what? Watch this. So Israel, the ones who are the Ashkenazi Jews, breaks ties with the real Jerusalem. Thus, this place would be Shalem, the true Salem, and they're trying to take it over and become Jerusalem. So from Salem, this becomes Jerusalem. Salem or Shalem to Shalom, Jerusalem, Shalem, Salem, Jerusalem, Shalom. Wow. They just completely, and it becomes, instead of from Judah, it goes to Judaism. From Jews to Jewish, which is the same thing as Erie that we see now. Erie. There it is. EWRY. They added a J to it. They added a J. See, here it is. City of Salem Schools. Gavin Woods is a South African political figure. So now we know that Erie, this is where they get jury from, trying to cover over the real truth of the people. Here it is again. And then you take off the J and you got Ewus, which will come up the name of Hebrews. Wow news. Our names has been mocked in every shape, form, and fashion. Just like he said it would be. Father promised, said we will be mocked as much as our glory used to be. We would now be mocked to that same extent. You add a J to it and it becomes jury. Literally, add a J. Jury. Now watch this. Just like where Judah, you can't have a jury without Judah. Without Judah. Erie, jury. And actually, Judah was like this, Uda. It's a lot of that. All right. So we're looking at he said you came from the place where my father took him. He says jury. So we now know it's not a J, it's Erie. I have even heard of thee that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in you, not on you, found in you. Now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou can make interpretations and dissolve doubts. That means when he speaks with authority, might, that causes doubt to fly away. He can persuade. Persuasion. The spirit of persuasion is on him. He has a persuasive way about himself. You can dissolve doubts. You can persuade me in what you're saying. That's authority. The power. That's the Father's spirit in him. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet, though your clothes be as scarlet, and have a chain of gold about your neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. So look at that. The third ruler in all of the kingdom, the third one. Just saying. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let your gifts be to yourself. Because Daniel got a little problem with him. And you're going to see why he has a problem with him. And give your rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king gladly, because I know what it means. It's the end of you, buddy. I I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king. Though El Shaddai, that's what the Most High means, gave the most El Shaddai Yah gave Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, a kingdom. What did he do? The father gave Nebuchadnezzar the kingdom. So he was the one who sent Nebuchadnezzar to attack Salem. See how everyone works in his hands? Even the so-called enemy. So Bill Gates is doing what the father has put him on the earth to do. All right. To weed out his sheep from the other sheep, like the word said. Okay. Thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor, and for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he slew. Meaning Nebuchadnezzar wanted to kill somebody, he killed them. Father didn't have a problem. And whom he would keep alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would put down. So the fathers gave him all authority to put people down, to raise people up, to keep people alive. It didn't matter. Or demote, he'll demote them. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, because he don't have the spirit of the Father living in him to keep, the fear of Yah will actually keep, the person from doing it. That's why he calls you to depart from all evil. He was disposed, from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts. This is where all the beasts come from, is Nebuchadnezzar. And each one of the beasts who comes will literally lift their hearts up proudly and speak against our people. And his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High, or the El Shaddai, Yah, ruled in the kingdom of men, Notice it didn't say good men. Notice it didn't say evil men. That means all men. The Father reigns over the just and the unjust alike. No one has to say so. And that he appointeth over it what? The kingdom of men, whoever gets elected. No, who he will. Was good. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled your heart, though you knew all this. For him who knows to do right and doesn't do it, for him it is sin. But has lifted up yourself against El Shaddai. And they have brought the vessels of his house before you, and you and your lords, your wives, and your concubines have drunk wine in them, and you have praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone. Now, let's see something here. Nebuchadnezzar dream image. Gold, silver, brass, iron, clay. Silver, gold, brass, iron, wood, stone. 6. So we have definitely silver there. We have gold, we have brass, we have 3. No, actually 4. Silver, gold, brass, and what comes after that is iron. But wood, well, we don't have the clay here, but clay after a while turns into something right here. But we have like an image, whatever. But it's powerful though. Silver, gold, brass, iron. Gold, silver, brass, iron. This would be the same thing as the wood and the iron. I mean, wood and stone. But it's iron and clay. It's something already been added. You already have the iron right there. So it's the 5th part. The only thing is missing is clay. So stuff that comes from, it's like you almost have all 5, every single thing, like down to the T. That's what I'm looking at. Like it's crazy. But it's powerful. Gold, silver, gold, that's 2. Brass, that's there, 3. And iron, 4. Rome is iron. And then the clay part is Saudi Arabia. But that would be from the earth. But so is the wood. The wood would be like strictly from the earth. But you don't really see them in there. But iron is definitely there. All right. So they've been worshiping all these things. It was like literally how these different kingdoms will be coming from: silver, gold, brass, and iron, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and El Shaddai, or Yah, in whose hand your breath is. He is taking it to him. He said, the Father gave you your breath, and whose are all thy ways hast thou not glorified? Meaning, like, you have not glorified him in nothing that you do. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, many, tico, a parshin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Meaning, Yah have numbered your kingdom and finished it. Meaning what? He had some more years to actually reign in his kingdom. But the Father said, not today. Tico, thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Meaning what? You're not balanced. He put him on the scale. He put him on the scale. And the Father found him to be like this. Found wanting. One side is higher than the other, meaning your judgment is off. You're not balanced. So the Father says you're unfit to rule. So now you're about to be removed. You're unfit to lead. You're unfit to be a king. And he literally removes him. Watch. Thou art weighed in the balances and art found wanting. You're not fit to reign. That's what he just told him. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes. So now the head of gold, which is Babylon, is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. So now Babylon the Great has now been turned into the hands of the Medes and Persians. Now watch this. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night, Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, sang, and Darius, the Median, took the kingdom, being about 32 years old, right? So we see Darius coming on the scene. Boom. Now, we did that to bring us up to Maccabees. And it happened after the Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians, or the Persians and the Medes. Alexander the Great, he becomes great. Why? Because he reigns in the stead of where King Darius is reigning from. Where's that at? In Babylon, right there in the seat of Nebuchadnezzar. So now a new kingdom comes in its stead. Nothing is removed. It stays the same. They just reign from that seat of authority and power. The first over Greece to reign. And Alexander kills all the kings of the earth. So there's no more kings at all. They have all been removed and now coming from Alexander. But watch this, how they are chosen. And he went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, and so much that the earth was quiet before him. It's the same thing. What we see here, he says, you have lifted up yourself against the Father of heaven, right? Now, Alexander, who is now sitting in the same seat where this man used to sit there, is now doing the same thing. So it's showing an example. This is what's going to come up out of you, is kings who will boast themselves. And took spoils of many nations, so much that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. But they're coming up under him. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Why? Because he did something he was supposed to do. That's why curses were released upon him. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then he died. And his servants bare rule, everyone in his place. Watch this. his death, they decreed themselves kings. They all put crowns upon themselves. Who crowned them? Did the Father crown them or did they crown themselves? So did their sons after them many years, which is still going on to this day. And evils were multiplied in the earth. So now, Queen so-called Elizabeth and all these so-called royal family are not really royal. They have declared themselves. The United Kingdom was declared. Denmark, all this, the UK, the United Nations, United Kingdoms, it was declared. That's how it runs. But their power and authority came from Judah. So when the right king shows up, which is called Shiloh, all the allegiance of the nations will belong to that one king and his people. Look, United States fits up under it, England, France, Scotland, London, all of them. The United Kingdom, France, Scotland, every single kingdom. Switzerland, Swaziland. Wales, all of them. Europe, Germany, European Union, all of them, even Israel, right? Pakistan, which would be the iron and the clay. All these things all come from under the United Kingdom, which was done by men placing crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them. They declared themselves kings. They declared themselves as queens. They declared it. But it's rightfully not theirs. So these dukes are nothing. The queen is nothing. And this person who calls himself king, he was declared king. Not by the decree of the Father, but by their decree. This will be what? The era of the times of the Gentiles. Times of the stranger. Hence, Gentiles. Ones who are not Judah. Simply. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Shalem or Salem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, be completed, be ended, has run its course. And now they're at the part. So it means until it comes to the end. We're at the end of the times of the Gentiles. We're coming to that end right now. We're right here at the divided nations of Europe, Western Europe, where now a rock, which means a new king, is going to come up and displace what has been for thousands of years. That's what that rock signifies. A new king coming to smash what has been, see, stone, son of man. Coming to smash what has been. You understand? So, that's what we're looking at, right? So we show where now the kingdoms is coming from. So Swaziland, since our kingdom was taken, how are they able to do what they do? Say what they said. when Isolele must live many days without king or prince, without sacrifice or sacred pillar, and without ephod or idol. After the time of the Gentiles, afterwards the people of Isolele will return and seek the Father their who? Their Elohim or Yah, and David their king, because a new king. Father is a stone made without hands. Meaning what? It doesn't have a continuation from anything that is Gentile. It's something totally different. Notice their gold, silver, brass, iron, clay, and even we already said that, the iron and clay. Out of all those things, a rock can be gold, a rock can be silver, a rock can be brass, a rock can be iron, and a rock can definitely be clay. He says, is not my word like a hammer that breaks the rocks in pieces? Now, so what is this rock like then? His word is like my word is not my word like a fire, declares Yah, and like a hammer that smashes a rock. So that's why it says the mountain. So a mountain will be the same thing and the same thing as what? Not a bulldozer, but what is it? Wrecking ball. It's demolition. Yeah. I'm going to come through, straight through. Look what it's doing. It's beating up. It will destroy some iron and will destroy some clay. So the mountain is like this wrecking ball coming in to demolish everything that was built by them, scattering the iron and the clay to the ends of the earth, scattering it, destroying it. That's what the king is designed to do. That's what's coming. That's judgment. Long-awaited judgment, destroying what has been built and is not supposed to be there. So the king is part of the demolition crew. Yeah. So Revelations tells them exactly. It's 2. Bible Hub. Kusabi family. I'm about to get ready to go in a little bit. All right. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. United Nations, UK, all that, what you name it. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers. Even as I received of my Father, and I will give him the morning star. And he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. And I will give him the morning star. What does that mean? From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same. He's naming a location. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same, what? The Father's name to be praised. The Father is high above all nations, his glory above the heavens, who is like unto Yah, our Yah who dwelt on high, who humbled himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in the earth. He says, I'm going to give him the place where the sun rises first. That's going to be his home. Where the sun comes in at first and rises upon the first part of the land. He's going to have the place where the sun comes first. He's naming a location. He's telling him, I will give him Mount Zion. The king will reign in Mount Zion. And I will give him the morning star. Psalms 2. Here it is. Now the kingdoms have been destroyed. Remember? He says, after they be destroyed, boom, broken to shivers, even as my father received. Boom. Even as I received of my father, what to do? I will give him the morning star. The place where he's going to dwell at, he's going to be in that same place. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Why? Because they've been taken over. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Father and against his anointed, the king, saying, let us break their bands asunder. Meaning what? They're now in captivity to us and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Father shall have them in derision, making them think they're going to get away. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath and vex them in his sore displeasure. He will be tormenting them. Yet I have set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. And I will give him the morning star. From the rising of the sun to the going down of the same. Mount Zion. This is where the Father's name will be praised. That's what he's saying. I'm going to give him Mount Zion. I will declare the decree that the Father has said unto me. You are my son. This day have I begotten you. So this king is his son. It's not enough to call you my servant. And now says Yah, or El Shaddai, who formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob, or the tribes, back to him, that Yisrael might be gathered to him. For I am honored in the sight of El Shaddai, and my Yah is my strength. He says, it is not enough for you to be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Yisrael, all of them, and to restore the protected ones of Yisrael, meaning the elect ones. I will also make you a light for the nations, all the nations, to bring my salvations to the earth. So those are being rescued in the time of the end of the times of the Gentiles. So salvation comes when the time of the Gentiles end. Thus saith El Shaddai, the Redeemer and the Holy One of Yisrael, to him who was despised and abhorred by the nation, to the servant of rulers. Kings will see you and rise, and princes will bow down because of El Shaddai, who is faithful, the Holy One of Yisrael, who has chosen you. So it's the same correlation with Revelations, with Psalms 2. So he's called him his son. I will declare. So the king is saying, I will declare the decree that El Shaddai has said unto me. He didn't say it to everyone else. He said it to him. So he'll be witness. And it's right here in the word. He says that what? That the Father says, you are my son. This day have I begotten you. Then we see the Father says it right here. It is not enough for you to be my servant. So if it's not enough to make you my servant and it's unbalanced, then the real thing, who this person is bringing all of the people back to him, is his son, a literal son. Ask me, the Father says, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. That means you will own everything. Everything that the nations that was divided up that owned all the stuff, this one king will own everything by the decree of the Father's word. You shall break them with a rod of iron. Boom. This is so powerful. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Boom. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings, the one who is in captivity. Be instructed, meaning will listen to my king's instructions. You judges of the earth, serve Yah with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the king, kiss the son, lest he be angry and you perish from the way. When the king's wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in the king, his king. Believe his prophets, so shall you prosper. You putting your trust in them. It's all the same. Yeah. I'm about to get ready to go. All right. One more thing. So early in the morning, they got up and left for the wilderness to Korah. And as they set out, Jehoshaphat stood and said, hear me, O people of Judah and Salem. Believe in El Shaddai, your Yah, and you will be upheld. Believe in his prophets, and you will succeed. Right? Now, we said some things about this king, right? That father was going to do. Since you are what? Lukewarm. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot or cold, I'm about to vomit you. There is some things being moved against you. I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. You say I'm rich. I have grown wealthy and need nothing, but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Meaning what? Your ways, your so-called culture is not of what the Father has declared. Not to him at all. And here is Eswatini, King, Swaziland, lukewarm. I wonder when this was done. Was this done? Let me see. All right. Look, we only got 55 views on this, right? It's crazy, right? But let's have in 2021 and see what happens. Is right now. I was just chilling, right? Just showing who the king is right now at this time. And I saw something. As soon as I saw it, I was like, go say it. So just all right. So when Father kicked out Adam and Eve from the land, he blocked the way. He protected the tree of life, so they would not have access to it to destroy themselves further. Right? So when I was looking at some things, I saw something that got my attention that I could not ignore. I couldn't ignore it. And I can't ignore it now. So I have to say what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is not good. Let's get it. I saw lukewarm. With him being in bed with the nations and all that kind of stuff like that, that is the same thing as being lukewarm. It's neither hot nor cold. Now watch this. The scripture says, because you are neither hot nor cold, I will spew you out of my mouth. That's what the word says. To the church in Laodicea, or to the peoples in Laodicea. I know your deeds, you are neither cold nor hot. How I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to, hasn't done it yet, I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. Watch this. You say I am rich, I have grown wealthy and need nothing, but you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. This is Swaziland. Like I said, I get no enjoyment out of this. Now, the next part of this is going to be the scary part. Because it scared the jeebies out of me where I had to go get a drink. Like I had to go get a drink. Because that's how real this word is. Watch this. Swaziland is right here, right at the mouth. eyes, nose, mouth, top lip, bottom lip, right in the mouth is Swaziland. Right here. Right in the mouth. I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. It's given Swaziland's location. I know your deeds. You are neither cold nor hot. How I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. You say I am rich. You say I am rich. He's a billionaire. And they seem to be doing good. But the father says, you're not rich. You're poor. Look, let's end malaria in Eswatini, in all of Africa. I know your deeds. You are neither cold nor hot. You are in bed with all of the nations. The same nations that the Father says he sees as nothing, less than nothing. How I wish you were one or the other. So because you are lukewarm, in bed with all of the nations, my enemies, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to remove you. I'm about to vomit you out of my mouth. You say I am rich, I am grown, wealthy, and need nothing. But you do not realize that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked. Let's read the rest of this. So as you can see, this video is saying some stuff, right? I would encourage people to actually watch this video. Maybe I'll probably actually put not a disclaimer, but probably put a link from this video inside of the video I'm doing now. So yeah, that will be my time. I gotta get ready to go. But y'all see some things is taking place, right? A lot of stuff is popping off. I've seen some stuff happening with Florida. They had some people dying. It's kind of crazy right now. Just really crazy. The death toll from Florida condo collapse reaches 11 as rescuers race to find 150 still missing. Interesting times. Beautiful times at that is, nonetheless, but very, very interesting. That's only like 33 minutes and some change, so that's not that long, but I'm about to get ready to go. So we're going to continue to watch as this Swaziland thing just unfolds. It says that the king now there is disposed. You can see there's an overthrow. Something is taking place. The father is like he's doing what he said he was going to do. So we're going to see. So because everyone knows that I have said these things, now we're going to see what happens. We're already seeing some stuff happens. We've seen that this stuff was said in May. Now let's watch how it rolls out. Let's just watch. Let's just see. At that moment, I think I would be scared. I'd be like, the hell did we just do? Who we just go against? This dude declared this stuff months ago. And now look what's on the front door post. And Father told me to say it. Say it. Why? So we can do it. Because the Father does nothing on the earth without first revealing it to his servants. Right? So, He revealed things to David. He revealed things to Daniel, right? Revelation. So I thank the Father for what he is doing. All praises to El Shaddai. All praises to Yah. All praises to Yeshaya. All praises to the Spirit of the Father that is moving throughout the world, bringing about what his word says. The more we keep speaking his word, the more Father keeps doing his word. More things keeps being uncovered, things being rattled, weather's coming in, destroying things. Like, you got to get up out of here, move, and we just keep saying it. And it's all happening right before I get ready to bounce and go to the land. Like, you can't make this stuff up, not even wanted to. It wouldn't be this accurate without holes in it. But clearly there's no holes. So I thank the Father for what he's doing. What is he doing? He's raising a light. He said, you will be a light to the nations. So Father is raising Goshen to be a light to the nations. This is where the gospel has been coming from and will continue to keep coming from. Period. With the breath of his lips, he will slay wicked men. My mom, husband, was slayed by my words. Father, you kill him or I will. I will mess up everything you have planned for my life. That week, that man was gone. So yeah. And that was when I was 16. Not when you're a grown man, 16. All right. So the way we think we don't know. The Father will be raising this person up the whole entire time while he's a teenager to being a man. That's why it says he will call him son. Why? Because he's been in his life the whole entire time, raising him up. All right. Remember, truth is not biased. It's absolute. Remember to subscribe, tell your family, tell everybody here that the gospel is here. Number one, the Father never gave the church the right to preach a gospel whom the Messiah said, you, the people, are supposed to be preaching this gospel throughout the four corners of the earth. They didn't preach the gospel. They preached another gospel. But this is the gospel. Bring it. Because everyone else is going to be inundated with the gospel the way it was taught to them from those who were set up by Satan. Period. Let's go. King out.
Yeah, so we are here at Truth Colors today, and today I blew my brother Yasha's mind, by telling him something that he didn't even know about, You see, the Father works in amazing ways. Yasha has had, see the background that I have right here? It has many colors. It's the Truth Colors background. So Yasha has had it since he started his YouTube channel. So me in the process of doing reading my stuff and all that, I've read about the coat of many colors. The father, all the patriarchs in the Bible used to have that coat. It goes down from Adam all the way till Joseph, and during the period of Joseph is when the coat kind of disappeared, but it was the coat of many colors. The same thing is what my brother Yasha here has, truth colors. So you guys need to know that where all the colors of truth are is where the Father dwells. So this guy has the truth and it's a bomb. If you guys are still double-minded, it's for your own doom. Check him out. Always listen to his words. The Father says you listen to what he tells you. You don't look at what he's doing. Listen to what he's telling you. If you follow the instructions, boom, you'll be saved. If you look at Adam and Eve, they didn't follow the instructions. The Father gave them the instructions. They went away from it. They did their own thing. They leaned onto their own understanding. But right now, he's speaking to all of us through Yasha. So we're supposed to listen to what Yasha is telling us. Truth colors. That's where the truth is. The way, the truth, and the lie. Yeah, my boy.
Appreciate it, fam. Appreciate it, fam. I do.
All right. We're gonna cut it?
Yeah. All right, fam.
CME family, thank you for subscribing and supporting my Patreon channel, where the truth is not biased. It's absolute. I dedicate this channel through Nzambi Zulu to the awakening of my people and discovering who they truly are, to bring out information and revelation that they may not see anywhere else. And as we embark on this journey together, feel free to shop with us. OBYU, featuring our brand, Goshen Black. You can also purchase New Truth music from me, your boy Heart of Song, aka Music, featuring Etana, Nzambi, JG, The Messenger, and other great artists on CD Baby and iTunes. It's time to awaken to the truth and power. Aren't you tired of being lied to? Truth speaks. Truth awakens. Truth colors.
Other Psalms.
Revelations. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark into his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. And they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Satan cast into the lake of fire. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and they shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. The great white throne. And I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead.
Hold up. I got this information real quick. This right here. All right. So this is from my boy, our brother Jazz. All right. He has sent me something that's very disturbing. Yeah. Very disturbing. So I had to interrupt that for this right here. Okay, so it's another dream. He's let me see. It was today. Let me see. Yesterday. Wait a minute. Okay. So he had a lucid vision yesterday. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna put this in this video because it just has to be there. With all the stuff, I believe they all mean something. Kusabi King. Good late evening. I hope that you are still awake as I want to share. This is at 10:35 p.m. Yesterday. I want to share with you a really disturbing waking lucid vision I had at work today. Just kidding. I do not know what to make of it, and I'm asking our great Father about it. All praises to him and all came before his glory. As I was testing some equipment, automated test, I had a wink for a second, feeling sleepiness, and in that flashing instant, I was in a vision. I was driving my truck on some freeway. I didn't readily realize, and among some cars and approaching from the view of my passenger side mirror, I saw this huge diesel truck. A gunmetal dark gray color with some kind of white markings. I could not read, barreling past me in the lane right of me. As it sped past me, coming into view, I was aghast and horrified. I saw that the truck bed was carrying a huge cage, open air crate that were filled with the bodies of people, just thrown in, piled on top of each other. They were dressed in their everyday clothes. I knew they were dead because there was no movement at all. It was as if they all died suddenly, doing whatever their lives there were. And somehow they were all collected and ceremoniously thrown onto this horrible truck traveling down the freeway in the vision. And in the shock of this vision, I instantly came to full wake, trying to catch my breath. King, I was asking Father, Abba Yah, great Father, what was that? I literally had to get up from my test station and go outside to collect myself. King, I was shook and disturbed. All thought about it all day as I went to the gym, got food for myself, and finally here at home, typing this out to you. Bless Baraka, you King. Today, 6:15 a.m. Kusabi King, good morning again. So soon, I'm reporting to you this morning's strange sight I've seen as I traveled to work this morning, approximately 5:30 a.m. going south on the 405 freeway. I almost thought I was seeing the Albert Hitchcock movie, The Birds. Seriously though, King, as I was driving, paying attention to the traffic, I saw uncountable numbers of huge black ravens flying east over and above the 405 freeway. If you ever driven on the freeway going towards Los Angeles, you will notice that there are big open skies over this part of LA, and where the 105 east and the 45 south exchanges, and in these wide open vistas, I watched scores and scores flocks of these big black ravens fly high above the freeway of in Los Angeles heading east, contrasting against this gray, overcast morning skies. I've never seen a sight like this since I've lived here in SoCal. This was eerie, King. Like I said, I almost felt like this was that Albert Hitchcock movie, The Birds. And then I posted to him about, King Swahiti, or King Swahiti has been disposed after pro-democracy protesters poured into the streets. He has fled to South Africa. The fate of his 15 wives and 23 children is unknown, as well as his many maidens. No more reed dance. All right, so then we're going into this. He just sent something just here while we was on this live. 10:46 a.m. The day gets weirder and more stranger, King. About an hour ago, we're here in El Sugando. While here at work, had a thunder and lightning with no rain or drizzle, so severe that each strike shook the ground like a quake. There are reports someplace got lit up and caught fire from the lightning. I thought to myself, Father Yah Tata Nazambi is very angry, and we who know better, and these heathens, the mindless, better fear, repent, and fall on our faces before him. The sin in this land here has not gone unnoticed. So let's check some things out real quick. and then we're gonna continue on, get up out of here. When I see stuff like this, you can't just ignore. That's what I mean by either you own by him or not. No matter what it is you say you're gonna do, he has the last say so. I should probably put 21. Is there anything going on with this today? Or should I probably put nude? Oh, that was it. That was right there. Something. That was June 17th. Something's leading up to that. So I wouldn't be surprised. At the time, each time they get ready to do their stuff, this is the place where all this stuff is supposed to be taking place at. There it is. That's 5 days ago, though. So if something's been here, so something is taking place, something is brewing in this area. Because they had an earthquake. Dang, y'all been getting hit. What the? 3.2 M earthquake strikes near El Segundo. Yeah. Father is, yeah, buddy. I wonder, is this the harbor? You see this right here. Wouldn't we be coming probably from the water from over here, probably to this area? Maybe slaves or something? I'm just, saying, possibly. I'm not sure. I'm just saying, like, it's hidden right there where the water is. But it's hidden by the water, that would make sense. If I would be angry, like, just like this earth, there'll be earthquake in diverse places. What if all the places that's going to be quaking, it's going to be showing the destination of where the slaves were dropped off at, or even probably sold at? I'm just saying, these just, thoughts. That these earthquakes had to have something to do with what happened to us. It can't be just, oh, there's an earthquake happening here and there's no reason for the earthquake. The earthquake has to have a reason. And that reason is going to always take them back to us. What happened? So we should be saying, like, what happened to us here? Where did we show at here? We can see where we showed up at because this is where the earthquake is taking place at. So where these earthquakes taking place at, boom, something happened to us here. And it's a reminder. It's like how they say, like, don't forget. So the earth is like, we don't forget. And it's like shaking. We remember. You gonna remember too. You gonna remember this as a tragedy. My house caved in on this day. But if you go all the way back to where it really took place, it will have something to do with us. How was we treated? You see what I'm saying? The earthquakes are going to be all creation. Thank you, Father. You is always there every single time. All creation groans, mourn. Ooh, how dare y'all do that to them? I'ma get you. I'ma get you. Moan, murmur, whine. All creation is moaning. Where the children at? Earthquake, crying out. So earthquake is crying out, where you at? We just had a 3.2 scale earthquake. It was scary as I don't know. I thought I was gonna lose my life. I was reporting the news. Squeal, squeech. So as we're not showing up, it's limiting. The earth is crying. Tsunami. Like it's born in the tsunami. People just getting wiped off the earth. Like, oh my goodness. A person just got killed. 30,000 people just got killed by a tsunami. It was like a sneeze. The earth is crying. Yeah, certain places where it's crying out. Like, you know what? I'm just let the floodgates open. Ah! A city just got flooded in a day. The whole earth is crying. Unhappiness. I am unhappy. All the earth is unhappy. All the earth is in mourning. All the earth is crying. Get yourself together. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now I'm out of here. Okay. All right. I guess I bring some laughter at the end before we close, right? Okay. So I've done that now. Now I'm gonna leave. For good this time. Okay. All right. King out. Father be praised.
Small and great, stand before Elohim, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was in the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged, every man according to their works, in death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, and whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. But I will tell you what will happen to cowards and to everyone who is unfaithful or dirty-minded, or who murders, or is sexually immoral, or uses witchcraft, or worships idols, or tell lies. They will be thrown into that lake of fire and burning